أنت السلام ومنك السلام تباركت يا ذا الجلال والإكرام. سمعنا وأطعنا غفرانك ربنا وإليك المصير والحمد لله رب العالمين. رب اشرح لي صدري ويسر لي أمري واحلل عقدة من لساني يفقهوا قولي. السلام عليكم ورحمة الله تعالى وبركاته. Jamaatul Muslimin, we continue with our reading of Bidayah wa Nihaya, authored by Bidayatul Hidayah, authored by Imam Al-Ghazali rahmatullahi alayh. He has impressed upon us the importance of obedience to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And in terms of acts of obedience, he divides it into two. The one is the fara'id, those compulsory acts, and the other is the nawafil, those recommended acts. Of the two, the most important is to fulfill the fara'id, those compulsory acts. May Allah grant us the ability to do so. He continues and he says that فَتَأَدَّبْ أَيُّهَا الْمِسْكِينُ ظَاهِرًا وَبَاطِنًا بَيْنَ يَدِي اللَّهِ تَعَالَى. When we're on this quest, we should develop a certain degree of consciousness. So he says, "O miskin," and the word miskin means a poor person, an indigent person, a person in need. We are in need of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah says, "Ya ayyuhan nasu antumul fuqara'u ila Allah, wallahu wal ghaniyyul hamid." That you are in need of Allah, and Allah is the only one that is independent. At the most, you and I, we are interdependent, but we cannot lay a claim to independence. So when Imam Ghazali rahimahullah addresses you and me as ayyuhal miskin, it is true. It is a mantle that befits, and Allah knows best. So he says, فَتَأَدَّبْ أَيُّهَا الْمِسْكِينَ. Show the proper etiquette in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And when we appear in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, not only apparently, he says, ظَاهِرًا وَبَاطِنًا, both in terms of your external and also in terms of your internal condition. So we must know that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is aware of us. Allah is aware of our public life, of our private life. Allah is aware of what our external is made up of, and Allah is aware of what our internal is made up of. بين يدي الله تعالى تأدب العبد الذليل المذنب في حضرة الجبار القهار. So many of our scholars, they put it in this way, when you stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, how should you stand? And just by way of an example, they say if a slave, a runaway slave, is brought back to his master, and now he appears in front of his master, how does he stand? In the same sort of condition, we need to stand in front of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. وَاجْتَهِدْ أَلَّا يَرَاكَ مَوْلَاكَ حَيْثُ نَهَاكَ. And make such an effort that your master, which is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, does not see you in such a place where he has barred you from, he has prohibited you from going to that place. وَلَا يَفْقِدَكَ حَيْثُ أَمْرَكَ. And he should not find you missing from that place where he commanded you to be. So by way of example, if it's a place of entertainment which is not permissible, Allah shouldn't find you and me there. And similarly, a place where Allah has commanded us to be, like in the masjid, Allah should find us there. When the roll call is taken, then our name should be on that particular roll call. And then Imam Ghazali rahimahullah, and we could probably end off on this particular note. So Allah has created within our hearts a desire to lead our lives according to the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And we've taken those first steps, but we want to progress. We want to progress. And as I was reading the Fatiha, I was reminded of Dr. Ramadan Al-Bouti. And he says, when you're reading the Fatiha, if you're unmindful, then there's a part of Fatiha that you should never ever be unmindful of. And that is when we say, إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ. Oh Allah, only you do we worship. But when we say that, we quickly come to the realization that, oh Allah, our intention is to worship you. But we cannot worship you without your assistance and without your help. That's why we're quick to say, إِيَّاكَ نَعْبُدُ وَإِيَّاكَ نَسْتَعِينُ. And Allah, your help and your help alone do we seek. So we want to be on the straight path. We want to walk the straight path, the path of felicity, success. We made that intention. But now we want to continue on that path. We need the help of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So how do we acquire that particular help? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has set His help in certain things. So He says, وَلَن تَقْدِرَ عَلَى ذَلِكَ إِلَّا بِأَن تُوَزِّيَ أَوْقَاتَكَ وَتُرَتِّبَ أَوْرَادَكَ مِنْ صَبَاحِكَ لَا مَسَائِكَ. The only way that you can achieve this is by putting your life in order. Putting your life in order. If you and I do things, if it's a worldly thing, if we do it haphazardly, we might acquire a certain result. But if we had an order and we had a plan and we started with the end in mind, we would acquire objective much more easier. The same applies to our spiritual progression. If we're just going to leave it ad hoc, you know, when I get a chance I'm going to read, when I get a chance I'm going to go to the masjid, when I get a chance I'm going to do that, then nothing is going to happen. We need to set our lives in order. And one of our scholars gave a beautiful example. So Imam Ghazali rahimahullah is saying that if you want to gain closeness to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, we need to have a plan. If we don't plan, and then we are planning to fail. That's what they say. So we need to have a plan, we need to have certain order. And some of our ulama say that if you want to get to a particular time when you actually have order in your life, they say there's two things that you can't do without. There's two things that you can't do without. That is eating and sleeping. There's two things you can't do without. Inevitably you must eat, inevitably you must sleep. So before tackling everything else, let us tackle the two things that we must do and we regulate that. So we can start off by regulating when we eat, and we can start off by regulating when we sleep. Once those give some form of a semblance of an order, then inshallah everything will fall around that. But we cannot expect to be slaves of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, diligent slaves of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, if we do not order our lives. Like we plan for work, we need to plan our journey towards Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So with those few words that Imam Ghazali rahimahullah shared with us, may Allah grant us the tawfiq, and may Allah place that light within our hearts. Just to recap, Imam Ghazali said, what do we need to do? We need to be obedient to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Being obedient encompasses two things, the fara'id and the nawafil. We must give preference to the fara'id. Then when we start developing a relationship with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, it must be the relationship of a slave to the master. And if we want progress, we need to order our lives. And Allah grant us the tawfiq to order our lives, inshallah. Wa akhiru da'wana alhamdulillah rabbil alamin. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi ta'ala wa barakatuh.